Hello, everybody! I beat you to it this time.
We are going to talk about funky.
Yeah.
And how it's come about.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about Piley 1024.
We can explain what Piley 1024 means later. Okay, done.
You done kicking the...
Yeah, we're done kicking.
Done kicking.
I done stepping, he's done kicking. So you said you're going to interview me.
Yeah, a little bit. So this is the latest funky. This is the Piley 1024. Just arrived here, and we thought it was a good opportunity to talk about why there is a funky, where it came from, how it came about, a little bit about the history of the funky. And I have questions. Like it had to come from somewhere. The idea had to germinate somewhere, and I do know that there are three conditions. There's sort of three criteria that sort of created the funky. But the first funky belonged to who?
The first funky wasn't even called funky.
Wasn't even a funky, no.
Yeah, the first funky was an amp that I built for my parents watching TV, driving a pair of floor-standing JMR speaker.
Really?
Yep. 22 watts.
Yeah.
So it's really small. It's only like 5 inches wide, 8 inches deep, 3 inches high, with a separate power supply on a 4-inch ABS pipe. It's not even a funky. It's all black.
Yeah.
But they love it. But they eventually move on. Don't want big speaker anymore. And now didn't buy sound bar. I wouldn't let them do that. So they just go back to watch an original big TV. And joking aside, when people get a little older, they actually want a smaller screen. They have to sit closer. So big speaker is not their things anymore. So they give it back to me. And I thought, well, that's a little amp. It doesn't cost a lot. I was building amps 802 that was like $5,000.
Yep.
And
i800
came along
yet.
yet.
Not yet. Okay.
No, but the 802 first, and then there's a need for entry level.
Right.
Yeah,
so this is criteria number one, right?
Don't like that word, entry level.
Well, I mean entry level is for,
Well, let's call it beginners.
Beginner. Let's call it entry level because every line has to have an entry level.
Yeah.
I hate the term, but you know what? It applies. There's a beginning for everything, and so the criteria for entry level is this. Number one, the number one thing is it has to be affordable. It has to be affordable and accessible. Now, the goal is to sound good, right? But this is an attempt to compete with things in a lower price range. Now, that goal is to offer something in a low enough price range because you're never going to compete with mass market information.
Well, mass marketing...
sorry, not mass marketing, mass production.
Mass productions, if you talk about mass production, anybody can correct me. I'm looking at mass production, mass marketing, mass production, big company, they are compete with latest features. How many labels they can stamp on the chassis, and every single label costs money. But for the mass, they want those labels, they want those features because the marketing are using those labels and features to sell the product. They really put the sonic quality as a secondary or even third. The features, convenience, always first.
Okay. Which is exactly the opposite of this. There are no features. There's no remote. There's no flashing screens. There's a selector switch and a volume control. And of course, it's got inputs and outputs like any integrated amplifier, but it's in terms of features, there are none.
This is almost back to the beginning, 2 channels.
Yep. Well, that's what it is. That's what it's supposed to be. So how do we try to compete with that? Well, first of all, we don't try and do the same thing.
And honestly, at that point, I'm thinking about cutting corner.
Yeah.
But what corner to cut?
Right.
The sonic corner is the corner that I will not cut.
Right.
I'd rather not sell a thing than cutting sonic corner. But there are other things I can cut.
Right. So we get to criteria number 2. right?
Yep.
Which is you believe in reusing things.
Just because I'm cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but there's the word, cheap, inexpensive.
Yep. And then in some part of the world,
Yep.
it's survival. If you don't know how to recycle, you're dead.
Yeah. So how do we make this less expensive? How do we get this to be an accessible price? What's the most expensive part of an integrated amplifier at this price level?
Or any kind of not this price level.
Not this price level?
From bottom to top,
Bottom
what
to
is the
top.
most expensive part of an integrated amplifier? Now, just
Give them a
integrated
second to
amplifier.
guess. Give them a second to
Okay.
guess.
Now, we just talk about integrated amplifier, okay? Not applying for everything. Integrated amplifier.
So guess, you've got 15 seconds.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. 15.
What did you guess? You're wrong. Actually, maybe you're not wrong. I don't know. What is it?
It's a chassis.
Chassis. What's the next most important thing?
Integrated amp only. Don't talk about line level component, nothing. The second thing is either the transformer or the heatsink.
Okay.
Depends on wattage.
Right?
Yeah.
And third most expensive thing
That's the transformer on the
is the
heatsink.
transformer, the heat sink,
So
depending on
that's three most expensive things.
Yeah. So what we can do is take an old beater like this. There we go. We can upcycle the chassis. We can upcycle the transformer. We can upcycle the heatsink.
Now, I'm correcting him now. Chassis, heatsink,
Maybe the
99%.
Okay.
Maybe the transformer. Transformer maybe 75%.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. So we've already been able to reclaim. Three of the most expensive, or two of the
Two
most
and a half. Two and a half. At least 2.5.
2.5, right? So that leaves room for a couple of other things. That leaves room to build an actual real amplifier inside. Now, it's going to be low wattage, right?
Yep.
The greatest wattage we can get out of one of these things at a level 2 is probably about 50 watts, 55 watts.
50, I call it 50 watts to be
Okay.
conservative.
Yeah. Now, this is a level 1.
It's a 25 to 35, and this particular one's 32.
32. Yep. So we've cut the corners on some of the infrastructure of the amplifier, but there's a real actual amplifier in here with a good power supply and good circuitry. It's funny because I don't know what you can see in the video, but we just listened to this playing with some things that are considerably more expensive, and it did not disappoint. It just did not disappoint at all. Like, I mean, we were using like pretty pricey speakers and a pretty pricey streamer and DAC, and it sounded not even this much out of place. It sounded really good. It's comfortably under the $2,000 mark, way under $2,000, I would say. And you know, if now here's the third thing, right? This is a creative outlet.
That's a good term, yes.
Yes.
And I do need that.
Yep. Yep. So it's not just you're not just getting a plain black box. You're getting an artistic rendition. Now, if you want this amp in a regular chassis, with just looking like a plain amplifier, we can get you that too. It's more expensive because
I-800.
I-800.
Yeah.
All the parts are new, right?
Including the three most expensive parts.
Yep. All the parts are new, but this is reclaimed with a brand new amp in it, and it's got the usual warranty. Anything else you want to say about the origins of this?
The originals?
Not really. It's a confluence of trying to hit a market point, trying to upcycle, I guess is the right word,
and still holding the sonic quality.
Yep.
No change of sonic quality.
Well, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. So every time you're just saying the cut corner things, I gotta add that things back on.
Absolutely. Yep. So yeah, no sonic penalty whatsoever. In fact, some of these, I don't want to say it, but some of these, I mean,
I would listen to these things anytime, anywhere. Not any pair of speaker, but most.
yeah, most. I mean, it won't drive really power hungry speakers, but most speakers it drives just fine. These are actually a little power hungry and drives them just fine.
Yep.
It's not your normal black or silver box. Like
and
this
is not for every audiophile.
No, it's not.
Every time we post these funkies on social media, we get attacked, and I guarantee we're going to get attacked, more attack this time.
Yep.
So I'm used to it.
Yep. So if you want to attack us for trying to provide something at a reasonable price with excellent sound quality, knock yourself out. Go ahead.
I'm going to help you for once. If I paid that much, I want something that looks good. But you got to remember this. Whatever you buy, ask your wife or girlfriend and see how they look at it. Guarantee 8 out of 10 bloody ugly.
Or boring.
Boring would be polite.
Boring would be
bloody
polite.
Ugly.
Yeah.
That's what they say. I mean, British lady would say bloody ugly.
Yeah.
But the other one might say just complete plain ugly.
Yeah, and this is art. Like this is actually art, and art, as we know, is polarizing. So there, people will look at this and go, "Oh, it looks like a Smurf puked on it." Well, okay.
If Smurf puke on it like this,
Yeah.
give me more Smurf.
Yeah.
And by the way, black, funeral, red, happy.
Red's happy.
Well, I'm just trying to be a Chinese.
See, no, it's got like some pink and fuchsia on it too. Like
no, red.
Yeah.
You look at this. You look at this. Would you think about funeral? Would you look at that?
What this?
Funeral.
There you go. So I don't know. I mean, this brightens up a room. It's really kind of cool. These look. I've seen a few of these in like really stark rooms, and they're neat. It's like it brings a whole room to life. But it's not. Admittedly, you know what? It's not for everybody. It takes some getting used to, and you know what? For people that want the regular chassis and the black faceplate, we have that. But we also have this, and if you're looking to get into the audio market at a lower price with the same warranty and at least the same performance, this might be something you want to consider. Anyway, it's here. Come and have a listen.
This is actually tame.
Pardon me?
This is actually tame.
Yeah, it's a little bit tame. I don't know. I like this one.
Well, I know, but it all
bright.
depends on my mood when I do it.
Yeah, it's bright. It's happy.
I know.
Yeah.
It depends on my mood. It's like I don't have a way of doing it. It's just like what's the next one look like? I don't know.
Well, here's the other thing too, right? Like, I mean, you kind of have to buy these while you can, because our friend here does not always feel like making them.
Well, if I have to deal with a lot of people on the highway, no.
So
there's a lot of potholes over there.
yeah. So there's other kinds of holes too.
Yeah, the
So
more vicious one.
These appear when they appear. I don't really have a whole lot of control. So this one, it's
I am going to take the tripod over and then show closer to the.
okay. Do that.
Yeah, so because we have been yapping so long.
Yep.
And they don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So first of all, let's get the thing here. Let's get the name.
I'm out of range, and I am going to take it off the tripod. Let's see.
What do you mean out of range?
Oh well, the image is out of the focus. I'm going to step on it.
Okay. I'm gonna kick it.
So what are we looking at?
Pi Li.
Pi Li is on top.
1024 is over here.
1024 is over there. Yeah.
Yep. So, and we have an on switch.
That's an off position right now.
Yes, there. Now it's an on switch.
Okay.
On off switch. We have volume. Oh no, we have the selector switch.
That's one, 2, 3, and move your hand away. Let's see. 1 here, 2 up there, 3 down here.
Yeah, it's set back to 1 now.
Okay.
And finally, we
control.
have the volume control.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that indicator. That's the indicator.
Guess what that is?
Yeah.
We're not telling you.
Oh. All right.
Okay. Then we have the top of the chassis, just colorful. And then should I turn it around, or do you want to go to the back?
I can
Or do you
go
want to
halfway. Let's meet me halfway.
All right, here we go. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's good enough. You can just lay that. Yep.
Yep.
It's kind of dark, but that's okay. We can see left and right speaker. Input 1, 2, 3, left on the top, right in the back. And this have an FCF jack. They all have FCF jack, by the way. So that means you can just plug in an external capacitor pack for upgrade. AC power input. I kind of put my name on it here. So that's it.
Yeah.
And I bet like 10 or 15 years from now, people knows I built these things just by one look. Nobody in audio industry do this kind of crazy stuff.
No. All right, I think that's it. So we're going to wave goodbye now. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. If you've got questions, wave. Yeah. If you got questions, let us know. If you don't have questions,
don't ask no.
Don't ask them.
That's right. Bye.
Bye.